Touched on a bit of Washington. Let's get it to Washington in full. The Trump administration reportedly considering tighter export controls on chips to China. Eamon Javers and Christina Partsinevelos have the details for us and potentially what the fallout would be. Eamon, let's start with you.
Hey there, David. That's right. Bloomberg is reporting today that the Trump administration is eyeing even tougher restrictions on semiconductor exports to China than the recent Biden administration had put in place, and those were seen as tough at the time. Citing people familiar with the matter, Bloomberg reports that the Trump administration officials are holding meetings now to discuss new limits with key U.S. allies and working on a longer list of restrictions that could be put in place in the coming months. Now, the goal here is to slow China's overall technological progress, and especially so in sensitive areas like artificial intelligence. The Trump team is looking at three specific possibilities: curbs on sales of chips that NVIDIA designed specifically for China, reducing the computing power that can be exported without a license, and putting more restrictions on types of NVIDIA chips that can be exported without a license. Meanwhile, in a press event yesterday, you guys were talking about this with French President Emmanuel Macron. President Trump said he is on track to reimpose tariffs on Canada and Mexico after the 30-day pause that he put in place comes to an end.
We've been mistreated very badly by many countries, not just Canada and Mexico. We've been taken advantage of. The tariffs are going forward on time, on schedule. This is an abuse that took place for many, many years.
Now, under the terms of the pause, the new deadline is March 4th at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll see what happens then, guys. You saw the president announce these tariffs. Then he announced a pause in the tariffs. Now he's announcing that things might come back at that deadline time. We'll see where we go when we get there. The president likes to keep a lot of these balls as live balls in the air so he can continue negotiations. We just saw a headline from the Mexican President Sheinbaum in the past hour saying that she continues to negotiate and she's hoping for a favorable outcome there. So clearly this is a moving target, even though we have that soundbite from the president yesterday, guys.
I mean, it raises the question, Eamon, about why he wants to go forward on tariffs. Is it to get the concessions, for instance, the troops along the Mexican border, which it sounded like they were ready to make a deal with, or does he want to use it to raise revenues, which he's talked about before, to help fight off the deficit?
Well, he's said several different things, right? One is that he wants, the Mexican and Canadian governments to help in the fight against fentanyl. The other is that he wants it to help in terms of lowering the deficit, as you say. The other is that he said that he wants to use tariffs in order to increase U.S. manufacturing and just protect American industry. You know, all three of those goals are somewhat mutually inconsistent. The president cited all of them in the reason why he likes the tariffs. He likes the idea of tariffs, but when he gets close to that deadline, there's always a pause, there's always an extension, there's always a study to be conducted, because I know that the president watches the stock market very carefully, and he doesn't want to spark any kind of negative reaction there as well. So he wants to have his cake and eat it too, and that's tricky to do.
Eamon, we'll talk in a little bit. Lots to talk about regarding the budget as well today in D.C. Eamon Javers.